So what do we say regarding Sefirat Haomer? So Sefirat Haomer is very interesting, even according to those who follow the Ramah. The Mishnah Berurah in Sif Katan Gimel and Siman Tov Peitet writes straight up, Nashim do not make a beracha on Sefirat Haomer, and he writes, our minag, says the Mishnah Berurah, our minag in Europe is for Nashim not to count at all. They don't count Sefirat Haomer at all, and even if they want to count, says the Mishnah Berurah, definitely do not make a beracha. Which means, according to those who follow the Ramah, who holds the woman could make a bracha on a mitzvah asay shazran grama that's time bound, when it comes to Sefirat Haomer, they cannot make a bracha. They can count if they want, but they definitely cannot make the bracha. And the Mishnah Berurah says, our manigas for women, not even to count. The Sfarim do bring down that in the house of the stipler, woman didn't count. There's no question, halacha l'maisa, if a woman wants to count, she's allowed to count, but definitely do not make a bracha. Like the Mishnah Berurah says, Sif Katan Gimel, but he says, our manigas, says the Mishnah Berurah, for women, not even to count. When it comes to Sephardim, the Ben Ish Chai has a famous tshuva. It's kedai to look at it, and Charles Tshuva's Rav Pa'alim Chelik Aleph in the back, he has Charles Tshuva's Sod Yesharim, and over there in Siman Yud Bet, the Ben Ish Chai writes very interesting psakim regarding if women can bichlal do any mitzvot that they're patur from. One of them is Sefirat Haomer. The Ben Ish Chai writes, and Chacham Tzion brings this down, and the Kaf HaChaim brings this down, and Ramazu Zechet Tzad V'Kodesh Vracha writes it in a Sefer Ish Matzliach. The minig Sephardim is for nashim, for women, never to do mitzvot that they're patur from, not shaking the lulav, not to be tokeh the shofar, and not counting Sefirat Haomer. So therefore, according to the Ben Ish Chai, halacha l'maisa, nashim should never count Sefirat Haomer, and he explains it according to Kabbalah how it damages the world's whole long tshuva. There are no Kabbalah, but he explains it. So nashim are totally patul from Sefirat Haomer, and they're not allowed to count even without a beracha, according to the Sephardim. What's interesting is that Maran Chacham Ovadia himself, according to you, the Ben Ish Chai, Kaf HaChaim, Chazon Ovadia, and Ramazuz, who all say Nashim don't even count Sefirat Haomer. Even if they wanted to, they can't even count, for sure without a bracha. But Chacham Ovadia and Chazon Ovadia Mud Resh Chet writes a very interesting lashon and a medaik in Maran Chacham Ovadia's words. Says Maran, Nashim peturot mitzvat Sefirat Haomer, Nashim apatur Sefirat Haomer. Why? Because Yish has a zman kavua. Sefirat Haomer has a set time, so therefore it's a mitzvah sesh zman grama. Like the Rambam writes straight up in the Meiri, v'chol mitzvot sesh zman grama, Nashim apatur. Then he writes like this: Ve'im ratzu lispo. But if a woman wants to count and do the mitzvah Sefirat Haomer, Bili berecha, without making a bracha, obviously. Reshaot, the rashai, they're allowed if they want to. Ach enan roim levarech, they can enem reshaot levarech, they cannot make a bracha. She bracha levatal, if they do, it's a bracha levatal, which is an avera. Interesting lashon from Chacham Ovadia. He doesn't say they shouldn't even count. They said if a woman wants to count, she could, but she should not make the berecha. According to the Kaf HaChaim, Ben Ish Chai, Chazon Tzion, and Ramazuz, they say women should not count at all. Don't even count. According to Chacham Ovadia, it sounds from his psak, if a woman wants to count, she could, but without a beracha. So let's sum this up a little bit. Even according to the Ramah holds, any mitzvah taseh shazvan grama, nashim can still make a beracha, like he writes, beichot kiyat shofar, beichot ulav. Says in Mishnah Berurah, when it comes to Sefirat Haomer, if a woman wants to count, she could, but she cannot make the beracha. And the Mishnah Berurah says, our meaning is that nashim don't make a bracha. According to Maran Shulchan Aruch, nashim for sure cannot make a bracha on a mitzvah taseh shazvan grama, including Sefirat Haomer. Can a woman count without a bracha according to the Sephardim? So according to the Ben Ish Chai, not. According to Chacham Ovadia, it sounds like yes. Thank you so much for listening.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.